Thank you. There's more to it, but you get the gist. So that was a song he wrote, and what happens? Jim Stewart goes, "Well, we've found our man." Whatever happened to the Georgia Pine Toppers? It's worth a Google. I really don't know. So Otis becomes this great songwriter and performing artist. The guy, he was mid-20s, very young, energetic, good dude. He wrote a song you probably never heard of. What was it called? Oh, Respect. Remember that song, Respect? Yeah. Okay, Aretha Franklin. Aretha Franklin was actually born in Memphis, but she never recorded there. She ended up moving, and but so she's actually Memphis blood too. And he wrote the song. Really, it was like from what was supposed to be a male's point of view or whatever he did. And he recorded it, but it just never did anything. When she got a hold of it, it made more sense. And she had a number one, She might be sick of singing it by now, but whatever, So Respect made him a lot of money. But one of his most famous songs was a song I know that he never got to hear the finished product because sadly he passed away. He was really doing well. He was on the charts. He was touring in England. And, a guy that would play with him, or a band that would play with him, the Memphis Horns, they were a very famous horn group. Trumpet and saxophone at Wayne Jackson. And so, the great music that came out of there, everyone worked together. It was a beautiful thing. So Otis has a song that he was inspired to write it because he heard this band called the Beatles and their Sgt. Pepper band, or the Sgt. Pepper album. And it was just so interesting, the chord structures and this and that. He wanted to write something that had, a little ear candy, So he's on the West Coast and he's sitting on the dock of a bay somewhere, right? And he writes that song. And he died. He was traveling, I believe. He was in a plane that went down in Wisconsin in a frozen lake. And one guy survived. It was a trumpet player, and he's since died. But he survived this plane wreck, but the whole band was gone. What's interesting about this song, it's probably more famous for the whistling at the end, right? You know what I'm talking about? There you go. Good. Put on your whistlers because it's coming. So what's interesting about this is that he has more verses to this thing, but they don't have a lot of studio time. So he gets done what he gets done. He's got to go get on this plane, right? So they're like, let's get someone in here to whistle to keep us on. So we'll keep the track. Otis will have the lyrics finished. He'll come back after his trip and sing the verse. So there's a guy who goes, just to kind of show them the time of the song, because they didn't have all this digital stuff they do now, He had to work at it. So I'd like to do the Dock of the Bay for you. This was Otis Redding's last hit. It was a number one, and he never knew it. So it goes like this. Sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting till the evening comes, watching the ships roll in, and I'll watch them roll away again. Sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Left my home in Georgia, headed for the Frisco Bay. Nothing to live for, nothing gonna come my way. Sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Looks like nothing's gonna change. I think everything's gonna remain the same. Can't do what 10 people tell me to do. Yes, I'm gonna remain the same. Sitting here resting my bones. This lonely road won't leave me alone. 2,000 miles of road just to make this dock my home. Sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Otis. Thank you. Yeah, so that's the story behind the whistling. Isn't that did any of you guys know that story? Anybody? No? Good. I could be making it up, but okay. All right. So, and the story goes, I don't really think Otis was whistling. I think someone else was doing it, whether it was the engineer or what. I'm not sure exactly who was whistling, but that was that, man. So the guy could have had a great job as a whistler, too, whoever did it, you know? So I'm going to play an instrumental here real quick because I feel like it. One of my idols growing up as a guitar player, well, obviously Scotty Moore, and then James Burton, who also played with the King, and Ricky Nelson. James played with Ricky Nelson and John Denver and all those guys. A guy you probably never heard of called Roy Clark. All right. Picking and grinning, that's right, man. So my dad had this record. It was like live in Vegas, and this great version of Malguena, actually, which I might do later since I mentioned it. That was on that, but he had another one called The Super Picker, and there was a thing called Roy's Guitar Boogie. And when I was 11, I couldn't figure it out. I tried and I tried and I tried. I revisited that song. I forgot about it for years, about 2 years ago. And I'm like, oh, that's, you learn a little bit more about the guitar, and I'm like, well, that's easy, you know? So I don't play it just like Roy, but I try my darndest. So without drums or bass or anything else, I'm going to do my version of Roy's Guitar Boogie. Let's call it Brad's Guitar Boogie. Sound like a plan? Let's do it. All right. Okay. Get ready here. Guitar Boogie. Thank you so much. That's fun, man. That's fun, man. I just saw the twins, too. Good to see you, kids. The twins are here. Good to see you. They love some Pink Floyd. A lot of students are here. That's great. Wonderful. Do we have any other questions? Anyone dying to get anything off your chest? Just anything?
So introduce the word, hillbilly rock. When did roll come into the equation?
Oh, good. God, what a great question. We'll be here for hours. No. There's a guy, so in Memphis you had Dewey Phillips, a DJ, a fast-talking DJ, at WHPQ in Memphis, Tennessee, at the Hotel Chiska, that's where he broadcasts out of, who played these artists at first. Then you had a guy in Cleveland, I had to think about it, Cleveland, Ohio, named Alan Freed, okay? And in 1956, the term rock and roll was coined by Alan Freed. It wasn't coined by anybody in Memphis. It was coined by a DJ in the Midwest, believe it or not. And that's where the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is, you know. There's been some dispute. It should be in Memphis. It's like, oh, sure, but I mean, hey, the guy coined the phrase. Come on, you know. So that's when it came into play, 1956. So in 54, 55, when you had rhythm and blues, hillbilly bop, they didn't know what to call this new kind of, and really they weren't really calling it rockabilly back then either. That was until like later. Yeah, Alan Freed coined the term rock and roll, and in 1956, it was a big deal. It was considered dirty music, you know. Elvis wasn't very popular with the parents, and what he was doing was tame compared to today. I mean, it really was. He was wiggling a little bit, and well, they weren't used to seeing that on TV. That was going on in these southern juke joints. People shaking it, you know, shake it, baby, shake it, you know, just like a whole lot of shaking going on about Jerry Lee. But when that was on this new thing they called TV, that was in black and white, and if you're lucky you had a set at your house, a TV set, right? And they saw this, and Mom and Dad were like, what is this? You know? And I think Mom liked it too, which is why she didn't want her daughter to watch it. But anyways, so what they would do is Elvis was on several TV shows. These were like variety shows, you know, like Steve Allen Show. He was on Milton Berle, Ed Sullivan, obviously, and Tommy and Jimmy Dorsey Brothers. When he was on Ed Sullivan, they think he was filmed from the waist up right away. He wasn't. It was later. It was one of his last performances in September of '57. He was already shaking it, and that was the problem. People saw this whole body moving, and they said, okay, the censors go, let's just film him from the waist up. That's what they did. What does Elvis do in such a nice, kind of smart aleck way? He's doing Don't Be Cruel, right? His #1 rock and roll hit in 1956, Flip Side of Hound Dog. And at the very end, let's do a little bit of it. No one can be found, sitting home all alone. You can't come around, please telephone. Don't be cruel, tell all that's true. Then when he goes, I don't want no other love, baby, it's just you want. Okay, right at the end there, he's filmed from the waist up. He just starts moving his hand. And when he moves his hand, the girls scream just like they did when he was filmed in full body. So what do, you know? Anyways, it's pretty cool. You should look that clip up. It's neat. He's got a pretty cool sparkly vest on, too. So yeah, there's a long version of the rock and roll story. So, and they would dub him the king of rock and roll, and he didn't like that. He thought, oh, rest in peace, Fats Domino. He thought Fats was the real king of rock and roll, you know? And that's just what it was. So I'm going to do a few more songs. Maybe talk. Are we good on time? Okay. How many? 10. Okay, sounds good. I can squeeze 10 out of here. Oh yeah. So who out there plays guitar? Good. We got guitar players. Anyone? You play guitar? You play electric? Right on. You want to be a rock and roller? Good. Do it. Make you feel good. Ask Dad first. Go to school. So anyone else play drums or any other musicians out there? Oh, of course the twins do. Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. Well, again, thanks for coming out. I really appreciate this. I give it up for Paul for bringing me out here. I got to teach a lot of really talented adults and talented kids. Really, no one was awful. Everybody was great. They were great players. And I owe it to Paul and his group because they're the ones who teach these kids. And I got to take them away from you and do my thing. So give it up for Paul, y'all. World of Rock. These kids are great. It's good to see guitar pickers and people, and they're drummers, they're piano players and guitar players, or singers. They do everything, so it's great. Let me do. You know what? I'm just in an Elvis movie mood, just because. Remember those Elvis movies? Yeah, he hated them. Just he didn't like them either. So he had a couple that were pretty good in the 50s, but he got typecast, and he just had to do these kind of beach movies, and he got really sick of it. And he wanted to return and go back to Vegas, not back to Vegas. Just start 69, he's starting to play Vegas. Then he starts a tour in 1970, and he becomes one of the highest paid and biggest stage show in America, because he hated the movie so much. He wanted to get out of it and go back to playing live. But one of my favorite movie songs is called Pocket Full of Rainbows. It's very obscure. It's from GI Blues, I believe. I just like to sing it for you. I was doing it at Soundcheck today. I'm gonna do it, okay? This is a good one. So if you know it, awesome. If you don't, here you go. I don't worry whenever skies are gray above. Got a pocket full of rainbows and a heart Kiss me extra tender, hold me extra tight. I'm saving your sweetness for a lonely night. No more heartaches now that I've found the love so true. Got a pocket full of rainbows and an arm full of you. Kiss me extra tender, hold me extra tight. I'm saving my sweetness for a lonely night. No more teardrops now that I've found the love so true. Got a pocket full of rainbows and an arm full of you. Rainbow, rainbow. Thank you. Thank you so much. Pocket full of rainbows. Thank you, guys. I'd like to talk a little bit more about the King and do one more song. And when he went to the Army in 1950. Okay. Oh, we forgot about Johnny Cash. Let's do Folsom Prison. Okay, watch this. Johnny Cash came from Dyes, Arkansas. He goes to Memphis Recording Service and ends up doing this little ditty right here. All right, he wrote this in Millington, I think, there it is. I hear the train a-coming, rolling around the bend. I ain't seen the sunshine, don't know when. Stuck in Folsom Prison, time keeps dragging on. That train keeps moving down to San Antonio. When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy, never play with guns. Shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. That train keeps moving, I hang my head and cry. Well, I bet there's rich folks sitting in a fancy dining car, probably drinking Starbucks and smoking Camel Lights. I know I had it coming, and I just can't be free. That train keeps moving, that's what tortures me. If they freed me from that prison, if the railroad train was mine, I'd move a little on, a little farther down the line. Far from Folsom Prison, it's where I want to stay. And that train keeps moving, all my blues away. Johnny R. Cash, A.R. Cash. That's right. Thank you. And thank you so much, everybody. And Johnny got to start at Memphis Recording Service. He wanted to do that thing that Elvis was doing and Jerry Lee and all these cats. He wanted to be a gospel singer, believe it or not. He was a door-to-door salesman for an appliance company located on Summer Avenue, Memphis, Tennessee. And he was horrible at it. He'd go door to door, and he had his mind set on being a performer, a gospel performer. So he gets sidetracked, and he'd see a guy on the porch in Midtown, and playing a guitar. He'd ask if he had another one, and Johnny would sit around with anybody that was playing guitar or whatever, and he'd, for 8 hours, be picking and grinning. Goes home, and his wife's kind of upset because she finds out, oh, we didn't bring any money home today. What'd you do? Well, I learned another chord, whatever. So that didn't sit too well in the Cash household, but all was well. And what happened was, in the Midtown area in Memphis, Tennessee, where he would try to sell these appliances, vacuums and toasters, whatever, there was a church there, and he went to ask a woman who was having a bake sale there if they needed entertainment. And she said, well, sure. He goes, I have a 3-piece gospel band. So they go in without rehearsing, right? And they absolutely stunk up the joint. They were horrible, absolutely horrible. So it didn't go too well. They were out of tune. They were loud. They were unrehearsed. But about 2 years later, Johnny Cash opens up for Elvis Presley at the Overton Park Shell in Memphis, Tennessee, and the rest is history, So it's pretty cool. And then Johnny Cash gets a big record deal with Columbia, goes to Nashville, and we all know about the Man in Black, don't we? Isn't that great? Well, you guys, I'm going to sing one more song if you don't mind. Can I just do one more? One more? And thank you again. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, World of Rock Music Lessons, and more. And I appreciate it. I'm Brad Birkedahl. I've got a website, bradbirkedahl.com. If you get the spelling right, just look at that right there, put a .com at the end, and you're good. I've got a CD for sale. Not here, but you know what? They got this thing called iTunes. And you Google Brad or type in Brad Birkedahl. It was recorded at Sun Records. I did a lot of Elvis, Roy Orbison stuff with different arrangements and horns and all that sort of thing. If you feel like it, get yourself download it, make you feel good. And a version of You Got It is on there actually with the full band. So it's full band stuff, and it'd be you might enjoy it. If you don't like it, well, I guess if you got the real one, which was a CD, it makes a great coaster. You can't do that with the iTunes. Once you got it, you got it. So, but anyways, here's a song I'd like to do by the King. When he was in the Army in '58 for 2 years, he was practicing singing a lot and piano and whatever. He was also doing his military duties, but when he was off, he was singing. He comes back with a more mature voice, and he has a #1 hit that was originally called O Solo Mio, but you know what it is, It's Now or Never, an Italian song. He was a big Mario Lanza fan. So let's do It's Now or Never real quick, and it goes like this. It's now or never, come hold me tight, kiss me my darling, be mine tonight, tomorrow be too late. It's now or never, my love won't wait. When I first saw you, with your smile so tender, my heart was captured, my soul surrendered. I spent a lifetime waiting for the right time, for who knows when meet again this way. It's now or never, come hold me tight, kiss me my darling, be mine tonight, tomorrow be too late. It's now or never, my love won't wait. It's now or never, my love won't wait. Notte sole che beve con me, oh sole mio, sta fronte oh sole. Stand from Tante, stand from Tante. It's now or never, my love away. Thank you, New Jersey. Thank you so much. You've been great. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Make some noise, everybody, for Brad Birkedahl. Make some noise all the way from Memphis, Tennessee. All the way. Ladies and gentlemen, Brad Birkedahl, make some noise. Everybody, thanks for coming.
It's now or never. Come hold me tight. Kiss me, my darling. Be mine tonight.